there's an understandable fear for individuals who have a H-1b visa or are looking to get one.
It's already disruptive, and so even if it were to roll back, we are going to see impacts of this.
I'm going to talk about this H-1b visa situation, as there's recently been a $100,000 fee signed off on. This video is for you if you have a H-1b visa, are looking to get one, or are a US worker looking to get in the job labor market. Even if you're a business owner, I'm going to touch on that as well. I'm going to give all my thoughts on the perspectives about which one's getting screwed over the most, as well which one is a clear winner in this situation. Welcome back to the channel. I'm John, a CPA, and if you didn't catch my last video on Gen Z struggling in the job market, what they can do, impacts of rate cuts, I'll have that all linked down below. You're probably going to want to watch that one after this to get a broader view on the labor market. To give a little context regarding H-1b visa situation and where the real drama begins, this past Friday, September 19th, Trump signed an executive order that affected H-1b visas going forward. It may potentially reshape parts of the job market. First, let's clarify what an H-1b visa is. An H-1b visa is a temporary non-immigrating visa that allows U.S. employers to hire high-skilled foreign workers. Generally, the job requires a bachelor degree or higher. Common job fields, they include stuff like science, technology, engineering, and math. The whole claim of a H-1b visa is there's better skilled talent abroad. The companies are basically saying there aren't qualified U.S. workers to fill these positions. When an H-1b visa holder goes to the U.S., they can typically bring their entire family with them, although it doesn't give the spouse an immediate right to work. The big shock came this past week when President Trump announced the fee of $100,000 for H-1b visas. Before this, H-1b visas were in the ballpark of $5,000. Each year, the U.S. caps the initial H-1b visas at $65,000, and they permit another $20,000 for people with master's degree or above. Some companies are exempt from this nationwide limit. Getting a visa is like winning the lottery, as some people say. Once you get an H-1b visa, you're good for 3 to 6 years. Sometimes this can even be extended if you're in the green card process. That said, due to renewals, it's estimated that there are around 700,000 H-1b visa holders in the US at any time. And this is where things get really interesting. The government came out and clarified a few points when it came to the $100,000 fee. Individuals in the process or renewing wouldn't be subject to the $100,000 fee. It looks like it'll only be for new lottery winners, and I certainly wouldn't call that winning the lottery. If you're enjoying this video, please hit the like button and subscribe, as it would really go a long way. California Attorney General Rob Bonta said, "We wouldn't be here without the talent that has come to California on these visas." Rob's talking about the current state of the tech industry. And there's no denying that California has been a powerhouse when it comes to tech. It's harder to quantify how much a role H-1b visas have played in the tech boom. It could be a lot or a little, but I'm not really your guy to have a say on that. But wait till you hear this next part. JP Morgan economists predict the high fee could cut 5,500 work authorization permits a month. And that's just huge in my opinion. Tech startups are going to take a beating if their strategy was to hire H-1b visa talent. Large corporations will either have to pony up for the new H-1b visa fees, or we might see a cutback in H-1b visas overall. China and Canada have already responded. Andreas Pellinar, an immigration lawyer in Toronto, said, quote, "There's going to be a net benefit effect for Canada across the board." China recently opened its doors with a visa to attract top talent in the STEM sectors with its K visa. There's no question that across the globe, top talent is in demand, and countries are trying to make relocation to their countries as easy as possible to compete with the US. One of two things is going to happen to US employees in the STEM sector. First, they may see job openings and the markets turn in their favor here soon if more companies are paying up for US talent. I personally find it hard to believe that talent in the US isn't there, but rather companies don't want to pay US employees what their market rate is, benefits, and the healthcare that goes along with it. The US has tons of great schools all across the US, and each year more individuals are graduating in the science, technology, engineering, and math space. But secondly, US employees could see jobs offshored even harder to places like the Philippines, India, and Eastern Europe. The accounting industry and finance as a whole is notorious for this. I might even make a video on that soon. But let me know in the comments if that would interest you by leaving a comment. And if you don't want to see that, please at least leave me a comment below to help the algorithm. That's like, wow, we never knew H-1B visas could be so interesting.
Yeah.
A $100,000 fee for new H-1B visas was the twist that no one saw coming. It seems like Jamie Dimon, aka Big Bucks Daddy Diamond, was even taken surprised by the fee hike. He said, quote, "The move came out of the blue." And is he a little butthurt? I'd say so, but who isn't when you're running a for-profit company for shareholders and your company falls in the top 10 of approved number of H-1B visa beneficiaries in 2025. JP Morgan Chase is astonishingly small potatoes when it's compared to Amazon, who took the #1 spot. Amazon has almost 6 times the number of approved H-1B visa beneficiaries in 2025. Now, to give a bit of context, Amazon is estimated to employ 1.1 million people in the US. Keep in mind, some of those might be your neighborhood delivery guy. JP Morgan Chase is estimated to employ around 317,000 people by my research. I don't believe all those are in the US. To me, the number of H-1B visa approvals in 2025 just doesn't seem to line up. Did Amazon know something before the rest of these companies? I kind of doubt it, but sure, they were using the H-1B visa process heavily in 2025. If JP Morgan Chase had roughly the same number of employees, it seems like Amazon is taking in twice as many H-1B visa individuals. At least they were. Times may be changing here soon, or Trump could always backtrack. One sector already seems to be in luck. The proclamation allows for potential exemptions, which include physicians and medical residents. I think that most people are already aware that there's an aging population in the US and that hospitals are already understaffed in most places. So this necessarily wouldn't be a bad thing for exempting healthcare workers, in my opinion. Let's look at the 4 main categories you may fall into now. Holding a H-1B visa, aspiring to get a H-1B visa, a US worker who doesn't need one, and business owners. If you have an H-1B visa currently, it seems like you're off the hook from many of the big fees. Many companies even wanted workers traveling abroad to return back to the US immediately. But on the face of the surface, there doesn't seem to be massive implications at this time. For everyone out there aspiring to get an H-1B visa, I'd expect things to even get tougher than the previous lottery. While the allowed numbers by the US government don't seem to be changing just yet, I expect companies to cut back a bit on H-1B visa hiring. As mentioned, we might even see more outsourcing of US jobs. To the business owners out there, unless in an exempted fee sector, it seems like there's going to be a steep hill, fee-wise, at least to onboard new H-1B visa holders. I'd be personally curious to hear from any startup tech founders, hear their feelings, and how they plan to deal with the business shakeup. To the US individuals looking for a job, now could be your time. If you're qualified for a job, then you may find success even though through not traditional routes, but more so through a recruiter. Hopefully the whole shakeup will play in the favor of US employees, but that remains to be foreseen. It's crucial to talk about some of the negatives that come along with the H-1B visa in this video. There's no secret that there have been reports of an indentured servitude type of feel from H-1B visa holders. There's always the proverbial carrot dangling over your head when working on a visa in the US. Things that come with this also include lower wages than the standard and companies that push for harder overtime. There's little repercussions for companies, and at the end of the day, it's the visa holder who gets the tough end of the stick, per se. The real winner in this situation is current H-1B visa holders. I get many people out there feel nervous, but it seems like the large fee increases won't hit current H-1B visa holders, and potentially not even on your renewals. Now, the runner-up in this fee debacle is US people looking for jobs. On the face, Trump is saying US companies are going to hire US qualified employees. The issue he doesn't really seem to have a handle on is offshoring jobs. And in this case, everything could backfire. Businesses and future H-1B visa applicants are the loser in this situation. The businesses have an upper hand with offshoring, and future applicants might not even be able to get to the US with this new situation. But they could always take their talent to other countries such as Canada and China, which seemingly have open doors right now. Companies in the US will really do anything to keep that bottom line tight with the tendies, and that's dollars for older folks out there. We have to ask, is the new fee really just a tax for businesses to do business in the US? They want top tier talent, which they say they can't get in the US, but now they have to pay a large fee. The definition of tax is a compulsory contribution to a state or federal revenue levied by the government on workers' income or business profits, or added to the cost of goods, services, and transactions. While it's known many companies are able to strategically shift income to avoid large taxes, it would be interesting to see how they get around this proclamation. And honestly, if they continue to hire H-1b visa holders at the same rate, like we saw with Amazon. The economy is already hurting, in my opinion. Unemployment has been ticking up, and it's harder for certain groups to find a job more so than ever before. If you're 18 to 40, then I want you to watch my other video where I speak about the state of the job market for Gen Z and a few things they can do to improve their chances at landing a job in this seriously tough market. Please subscribe, give this video a like, and I'll see you soon in another video.